I'm Simone Caporali. I'm a Chief Operating Officer of Intercultura. The title in English is Direttore Esecutivo. Yeah. And I'm in charge of all the operations of Intercultura. So, of course, mainly programs that I will better describe later. And first of all, I have to underline that Intercultura is a non-profit organization, is a volunteer-based organization. So all the process and the ownership about the process are in charge to the volunteers. But you are here in our headquarters where they work about 40 people because we have a large number of volunteers, but we have also 60 staff based in this office in Colle di Val, close to Florence and Siena, and the rest in Milan. Okay, but yeah, just to better describe who we are a volunteer organization. What does it mean? That we have 5,000 volunteers. Wow. This is the number of our members that are divided in 160 we call local chapters. But you have to consider like a community. So in 160 cities we have a group of volunteers that taking care about the promotion, the selection of the students, and also looking for the family that have to host the foreign students. Because mainly our mission is for promoting intercultural learning, to promote the peace. In order to reach these goals and missions, we used to have programs with different nationality, programs of intercultural exchanges for high school students. Okay, so the range age of our students is between 15 to 18 years old. We are able to send about 2,000 Italian students abroad, and we host about 700 students from all parts of the world. Intercultura was born in 1955, so it has a long story, but it's a part of a network that is called IFS, American Field Service, that was created more than a century ago. So I don't want to jump in the history because it could be too long. But in brief, it's important that also our network is a volunteer-based network. So it means that there are similar organizations in 60 countries in the world, and we are using the same organization model in order to reach the mission.
Hello, I'm Andrea Franzoi and I'm the Secretary General of Intercultura. I'm the head of this organization, of this association, which is a volunteers-driven organization, but we do have, of course, an office with paid staff in supporting the volunteers.
Okay, thank you so much for having us. Now we would like to talk about European values if you are in. So my first question is that what do you think that is the most important and most useful values for the youth in your country or in your organization as well?
Probably freedom is the most important one for young people, and in our organization, so we are talking about peace and intercultural education, intercultural learning, which is the base of freedom. And I think this is very important today, so for young people, so to recognize that peace and freedom are so important values so to live in our society.
Yes.
And do you think that it's important to develop their knowledge about these values so they are aware of these values?
No, I think it's important to develop their knowledge about these values, especially because when we talk about peace, over the last 80 years in Europe, we were in peace. And I think for the young generation, it's more difficult to understand what does it mean not being in freedom and not being in peace. So it's important to build up the knowledge, what does it mean, peace, and also intercultural education in terms of the idea of learning to live together between people from different contexts, different cultures, different places.
So you mentioned the history and the change of history, and my question is about that. Do you think that there were any specific historical event that has changed these values past the decades?
Yeah, as I said before, I think that the starting point was the end of the Second World War in 1945, so 80 years ago. This was a little bit the turning point into this idea of the values of the European Union, then what it would become then European Union. But at the same time, unfortunately, I think that when we talk about peace and about freedom, February 2022, when the war started in Ukraine, I think is another turning point, because this was probably the event that really brought also the young people to better understand what does it mean, so to talk about peace.
And do you think that the youth, like the students and the people in schools, are interested in these historical events and in international or national history in your country?
Yes, I do. I think that in Italy especially we do have a tradition in schools. History is an important subject and it is taught in a very complete way, I would say. But as in every country in the world, I think the perspective of history is very nationalistic, because every single country is seeing and showing, presenting the history from their own perspective. And it's very difficult to understand that given from a different point of view, you could also have a different perspective on history. So the concept of international history or internationalization of history is something what we should work on, because it's not very common, and it's, I think, one of the reasons why we still have certain misunderstandings between people coming from different regions, different countries.
As you can know about our research, we are here for finding out your best practices. And my first question would be that in your organization, which are the most useful and most important best practices that you use?
Okay, I think that in Intercultura there are lots of activities that are aligned with the promotion of the European values, such as inclusion, equity, respect for diversity, intercultural understanding, intercultural dialogue, and some best practices I think that are for sure the exchange programs, also the scholarships, because Intercultura offers lots of scholarships to make these experiences accessible to students from all the backgrounds. And also I think a very milestone in our project is the training. We offer training for students before the departure for their exchange programs. We offer trainings for the volunteers, as Roberto said, and we offer we offer trainings also for the families, hosting and sending families, to better understand the experience. For example, to thought about some points, some different point of views. And the milestone in these trainings is the AFS framework, who Roberto, I think, is going to talk about. And also we offer trainings for teachers. So with Fondazione Intercultura, we offer some trainings for teachers to give them some tools to foster the global competence. So, for example, training for teachers, or also workshops for the classroom to think about the global citizenship. So I think that there are very important practices that can contribute for the promotion to the European values. And I think that it's the best way for our experiential approach to build a more aware and more active global citizens.
Our training are based on a framework. The framework is Active Global Citizenship, is the AFS, that is our main organization, international organization framework. And it has been developed in the last decade. And for us it has been a big shift in terms of training and education, because we were used to think about education, about intercultural learning. So we focus on identity and diversity, of course. But this new framework make us think about how we can put in practice this kind of sensitivity and skills. You know, we started like acknowledging the other and the diversity, but now we are thinking more how we can put into practice what we have learned, acknowledging the other and living maybe in another place, in another context, and understanding other people. So this new framework is based on 4 dimensions. These 4 dimensions help our students and also our volunteers to reflect, to understand better how they can be more involved in this kind of global citizenship. And I think that European values and European citizenship is part of this bigger picture, the global competence. Global competence is a concept that we, of course, we took from UNESCO, you know, other frameworks, our bigger framework, but we decided to have our own version because it's very focused on students' mobility and volunteering. So this is our, I can say, our specific version of global citizenship. We call it active global citizenship. And now we are going to redesign all our trainings and our activities with this new framework. So me, Maria P, and other colleagues, our job now is to rethink not only how to understand other people and live, you know, in the world, respecting people, having positive dialogues with them, but also how we can build, you know, a better future for our humanity, I can say.
Yeah, that's interesting. Maybe you can even learn yourself something.
Yes, of course.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's in Intercultura.
A lot.
We never stop learning,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
it's very interesting for us to
Yes.
rethink our way of thinking about our job, our works, our you know, organization in these new terms. And it's very interesting and it's quite tough, but
Yes.
it's
But it's interesting.
yes,
Yes.
it is.